What is up, everybody, and welcome to the PlayStation Forecast, episode 23. I am your host, Alex Derrickson, and I hope, again, you all are doing great. Last 7 days have been nice. I'm getting back into the swing of things with the playing and the video gaming and the video making and things like that. Spent some time, and there's videos up for all this too. We'll get there here in a second. But the one game I spent some time with a myriad of genres, kind of just dabbled and danced around, various scores and symphonies of titles here. The first one being Flipping Death. And this is from Zoink Games. So you may remember them or be familiar with them with Fee or Faye. It came out earlier this year. Then there was one game that came out a couple years ago, and the name escapes me right now. But they're also doing Ghost Giant, which is the upcoming PSVR game coming at a date to be determined later. That was revealed at the E3 kind of pre-announcements heading into Sony's actual E3 conference. Flipping Death. It's a 2D puzzle platformer where you're like Death's intern is the best way. I mean, that's the accurate way to describe it. And you kind of it's 2D, it's platforming, but you have to alternate between like possessing people on the living side and alternating between the living side and the dead side of the world that you're in to solve these puzzles, to advance the story, to push forward throughout the map and everything like that. It's really clever. It's really well written. It's fairly well voice acted throughout. It reminds me a lot of Double Fine. So if you're a fan of like Tim Schafer games, I think this one will be right up your alley. The next one was from Rat Loop. It's Vroom Kaboom, and this is it's a free to play game. It's available now. Full disclosure, all of these codes were provided. But this I played in the premium version of the game, so without like a lot of the unlocks, or a lot of the unlocks are already there, and what have yous. It's Twisted Metal meets like tower defense meets deck builder. I was pleasantly surprised by it. It plays fairly well. It's a little confusing. The tutorial doesn't really explain things great. The actual like in-game training segment doesn't explain everything, I think, as well as it could. But once you kind of get in there and you figure it out, and you kind of, I mean, it sucks you're left to your own devices because it's not the most crystal clear game in the world in terms of direction. But I was pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed that. I will definitely come back to it for sure. But if you're looking for like a Twisted Metal type game, Vroom Kaboom's kind of the closest you're gonna come to, I think, in the foreseeable future. Next one was Earhart, Tales from Broken Wings. I don't know why I keep ending up with like these roguelike plane games, but this is another one. It's like a diesel punk atmosphere. You're flying the plane, you're doing sky fishing. I didn't like it. Like I just didn't. I didn't think the plane controlled all that well at first. It had this habit of like starting you out and trajecting you directly into like a rock, so you need to turn immediately. The plane, like I said, it takes a minute to kind of get used to adjust. It's a roguelike, which is fine, but like it's the whole permadeath thing. So if you die, you do start back over. It's a lot of just like you're catching fish, and sometimes the fish hunt you, and they're sky pirates. Then you want to get back to your hangar before you take an insurmountable amount of damage, and then take back off again. It didn't do anything for me. That'd be the best way to put it. It's just I wanted to try it. I tried it. I think that's a game for some people. Obviously, it's just it didn't do anything with me. It didn't strike a chord with me the way that this last one did. And this will be out by the time you hear this. But Battle Chef Brigade Deluxe from Trinket Studios. See, as I've said, I don't have a Switch. I'm not a Switch boy. It came out on the Switch in 2017, and I remember everybody lauded it and praised it, and everyone was talking about it. Holy shit, I love this game. It's a match 3 platformer, so it's a match 3 puzzle platformer inside of like a competitive cooking anime, and it is amazing. I did not expect that to tick the boxes that it did. I didn't expect to get that much pleasure out of it that I did. I cannot wait to get back into that, like that, and then I think Donut County, which is coming out, which will be out by the time you hear this, and Fire Pro Wrestling World. I think those three are going to hold me over the next week, heading into Spider Man. But yeah, fucking Battleship Brigade, man, that is my jam. Like that's one of those games where it's if I had a Switch, I would play it on the Switch because I would want to play it with me wherever I'm at. And I'm just upset it's not on Vita. I understand it's an archaic piece of hardware. It's probably not easy to port to anymore, or maybe ever. I don't know, but I get why it's not there. But it's one of those games where it's like, God, I wish I could take it with me because I would. That is a game I would not put down if I had the option to. All of those, just quick housekeeping, then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of everything. All of those I have gameplay videos up of all four of those games at youtube.com/pressxtoalex. So if you're watching the video version, you can click the videos, or if I remember, the cards thing is already popped. There's a very good chance I'm not going to remember to do that. Holding my own feet to the fire here, low expectations. But all of those videos are available in the previews playlist that I have, as well as my recently uploaded, so you can check those out. So with that said, this is the PlayStation Forecast, and it does come to you each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on youtube.com/pressxtoalex and podcast services around the earth. If you like the show and you want to get involved, you can go to psforms.pressxtoalex.com, where you can submit any questions, comments, news stories, commentaries, concerns, whatever you wish, and be involved in the discussion of the show as it proceeds week in and week out. And if you want to support the show, the best thing that you can do is go to the podcast service of your choosing. Click the subscribe button. Leave a nice 4 or 5 star rating if you have that option. Write something up too if you're feeling crazy. It does help the show get found. It helps it get in the rankings as we've been in the past. I would love to see it back in there in the games and hobbies ranks on iTunes. So subscribing, reviewing helps out a ton outside of just listening. Listening each and every week means the world to me. This takes it that next step. If you do consume the video version, again, the best thing to do is subscribe, because you don't just get this show. I do these previews occasionally. I put up a review if necessary. I'm game planning how to possibly get more content curated for this. It's just a time management thing that I don't have my hands in that job. I'm spinning a lot of plates right now, and to spin more plates, I'm gonna have to put plates down, and I'm not there yet. I don't want to get to that point yet. I don't want to sacrifice anything and put up like lesser in quality. I don't want to do that. That'd be a disservice to you. But if you do want to support the show, subscribing on whatever form in which you consume it, leaving a review, liking it, however you choose. You can also follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/pressxtoalex, where you can talk to me about anything else too. I'm cool with whatever. But with that said, without further ado, let's get into the news. It's a meaty show. Meaty show this week. And starting off with some sad stuff, some sad news here. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. I think this is going to be the best avenue here. I'll bring this mic up here. But some sad news that you've probably already heard about. This comes from CNN, Eric Levinson and Ann Claire Stapleton. It's about the shooting at the Madden tournament in Jacksonville. I'm not going to say the name of the killer. I'm not going to do that. They do not deserve not necessarily credit. They don't deserve their name being within the breadth of this story. So I will, that's already lined out. I'm skipping that part. 2 people were fatally shot during a video game tournament at a shopping and dining complex Sunday in downtown Jacksonville, Florida, Sheriff Mike Williams said. 9 other people suffered gunshot wounds, and 2 people were injured fleeing the area, Williams said. The gunman took his own life inside Chicago Pizza after the shooting, the sheriff said. The shooter who was in Jacksonville for the video game competition used at least one handgun in the shooting. The shooting occurred at the Jacksonville Landing Complex during a qualifying event for the Madden 19 tournament at the GLHF Game Bar, Complexity Gaming, one of the gaming teams said on Twitter. The Landing is an open air marketplace with stores, bars, and restaurants in downtown Jacksonville along the St. Johns River. At least 3 people injured in the shooting were transported to Memorial Hospital and all are in stable condition, hospital spokesperson Pete Moberg said. One person is being treated for minor injuries at Baptist Medical Center spokesperson Cindy Hamilton said. UF Health Jacksonville received 6 patients, including one in serious condition. The victims range from 20 to 35 years old. The victim is in serious condition and multiple gunshot wounds to the chest, and doctors are monitoring this patient's heart. At least 3 patients were shot once, and 3 were shot more than once, UF Health said. In an online stream of the Madden event posted to the website Twitch, several loud gunshots can be heard and the game abruptly stops. After several shots ring out, people can be heard screaming and one person cries out, "Oh fuck, what did he shoot me with?" The stream did not show the shooting. The event was the Southeastern qualifier for the Madden NFL Championship Series for Madden NFL 19, according to the bar's Facebook page. So, let's see here. Quote, "The nation once again looks to Florida with grief and heavy hearts," former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords said, who was seriously wounded in a mass shooting, said in the statement. "The massacre in Jacksonville is a tragic reminder of the threats we face from gun violence, no matter who we are or where our day takes us," says Giffords, who co-founded a gun violence prevention organization. Quote, "And it's yet another devastating indictment of the country's liability to keep our kids safe." There was a follow-up story also to this that came out a little later. So pull this up too. This is also from CNN. Let's see. I gotta find it. It goes more into the victims and everything too, because I don't want that to go. This is from Amanda Watts. One of the men shot and killed at a gaming tournament in Jacksonville, Florida on Sunday had won the national tournament, the Madden Classic, 2 years ago. The other was a former high school football player who loved to play the online version of his favorite sport and had won $51,000 in his short gaming career. They both died in the shooting at the GLHF Game Bar on Sunday, where they were attending a tournament for competitive players of the football video game Madden. The winners would go on to a higher level tournament in Las Vegas in October, where the large cash prizes could be won. The shooting left 10 injured from gunshots and one person with a non-gunshot injury, Sheriff Mike Williams said. All of the injured are expected to survive, he said. 3 of the 4 people hospitalized at Memorial Hospital have been released. The sheriff's office on Monday identified the 2 victims who died as Elijah Clayton and Taylor Robertson. Quote, "We are shocked and deeply saddened by the senseless violence in Jacksonville and the tragic death of Dot City Gaming team member Taylor Spot Me Please Robertson and Eli True Clayton," Robertson's gaming sponsor said in a 2-part tweet. "They were great competitors and well-loved members of the Madden community. Our thoughts and deepest sympathies go to their families, loved ones, and all of those affected by this tragedy." Robertson, who was from West Virginia, had career winnings of more than $80,000 and had won the Madden NFL 17 Classic, according to his player profile on EA Sports. Sunday's tournament was a qualifying round for the Madden NFL 19 Classic. Clayton was a former member of the Calabasas high school football team in California, the team said, saying, quote, "Our hearts are broken as we learned the former Calabasas football player Elijah Clayton was senselessly murdered today during the mass shooting in Florida. We send our love, condolences, and deepest sense of sorrow to Elijah's family and friends," the team tweeted. Clayton, 22, was from Woodland Hills, California. He also went by True, according to his EA Sports player profile. True is consistently one of the best in competitive Madden, the biography on his profile page said. Clayton's cousin, Brandy Pettijohn, said in a statement the family was, quote, "devastated by yet another senseless act of gun violence," end quote. "Elijah's family wants you to know that he was a good man. He did not believe in violence. He never even had a fist fight. He loved football, and out of all the video games he could play, he settled and mastered Madden. He made a good living gaming, and he saved his earnings so he could afford to go to college to continue his education." Let's see. So the shooter was in the tournament. He was in town for the tournament. He used at least one handgun, and the police have not released a possible motive. It was speculated that he was in the tournament, he lost, and he came back. That hasn't been confirmed by the police, but that's been the kind of the common thread there. So first things first. Uh, my sympathies and condolences to the family and friends and anyone involved in the shooting in Jacksonville. It's just how many more? Like how many more stories like this have to be read? How many more acts like this need to be committed? How many more people need to die? How many kids need to be just murdered to have a tide turn? And I know there's no quick solution, and I am not politically or mentally equipped to put one on the table. It's but there are people who can, and there are people who do, and then there are a lot of people who do not. And it's their silence that is deafening. I this story kind of stopped me just dead in my tracks. Poor phrasing, but this story just stopped me when I heard it yesterday. And more things just kind of poured out and more things came from it. It's emotional because video games are such an escapist medium. Not quite unlike, not quite unlike schools, movies, concerts, churches, clubs, now gaming tournaments. Like where is the line? Where does it stop? When does this stop being a win? With conventions coming up, this changes how security gets handled. This changes how, and it sucks. It sucks. Not like people are losing their lives and nothing changes. Nothing gets done. Kids are being needlessly, senselessly. These are children. They're in their 20s, and in other cases younger, are being killed over what? For what? And yet we sit back, and there are a number of us that go like, how does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? But the powers that be sit in silence, and they offer thoughts and prayers, but not solutions. And I if if you are someone who has ever been in a position that you feel like the methodology that was taken out in Jacksonville or in any in Las Vegas and Sandy Hook and anywhere that acts like this have occurred, just think about it. Like nothing in life is worth killing other people or killing yourself over. And I think that's, and there's issues with gun violence, there's issue with mental health, there's issues with you know people being able to cope and not and have outlets and escapes and where and places and people to talk to. If you're listening to this, if you hear this by any chance, and you are someone who's in that place, in that state, fucking reach out to somebody. Like I'll put it out there. My DMs on Twitter are open. You can message me at any time, and I will tell you why you should not do whatever it is you're thinking about doing. Like nothing. Life will throw you punch after punch after punch after punch. It could be days, weeks, months, years straight where just nothing feels right, nothing feels okay, and you're just in a hole, and you're just digging the hole deeper and deeper and deeper to where you can't get out of it, and it's just darkness and blackness and everything like that. there's always a better option, whether it's perspective, whether it's just making sure someone can hear you, needing someone to listen to. There are people here, and I will put it on the table right now. I will be one of those people if you need it. Like there's no reason for acts like this to continue, and there's no reason for more to take place. So again, my heart goes out to everybody involved or affected by this, and because this changes conventions in the future, this changes tournaments down the road, this you know nothing there's no hallowed or sacred ground anymore, and that was shown when it was schools and churches and theaters and concerts, but like now it's permeated. The win has happened, and not the if. It's now going forward. What's next? How do we prepare for when this happens again? And for anyone going to PAX, which is coming up, just be careful. Because I think this changes a lot on this end of the spectrum. Whether anything comes of it at a legislative level, this is not a litigious podcast. I have no solution, no resolve that will remedy this, beyond its current state. Like I said, I am not equipped with those kinds of functions and solutions and the like. Just be careful. And if you're someone that sees an event like this as a possible outcome for you, reach out and talk to us. There's always somebody. There are hotlines that will listen. And if you think someone else has it worse, or like no one will listen to you, there are people that will volunteer to listen to you. There are people that are paid to listen to you. There's always an ear. And take that step. Take a proactive measure for something better. Don't take yourself out of it. It's not the right way to go. Going forward here. Next bit of news. The July NPD numbers are out, and this is from Shabana Arif from VG 24/7. The NPD data for July has dropped, and Nintendo has topped the hardware and software charts this month with Octopath Traveler and the Switch. The NPD has released its data from the US market for July, which covers sales results for physical and digital games, both retail and online. It's worth noting that the data has been provided by participating publishers in NPD's digital panel, and so it isn't indicative of the entire market as a whole. In terms of hardware sales are up 19% year on year for July 2018 to 217 million. NPD attributes these gains to Xbox One, Switch, and quote, plug-and-play devices like the NES Classic Edition, which was the best-selling hardware for last month. Hardware sales are at the highest they've been year-to-date since 2011, with hardware spending up 21% to $1.9 billion for the first 8 months of 2018. Nintendo Switch was July's best-selling piece of hardware in terms of units sold and dollar sales, making it the 7th month since the console's launch that's led in the latter category, and the first time it's beat out the competition this year. It's also the second consecutive month that the company has topped hardware sales. The PlayStation 4 is still the best-selling console year-to-date, while sales of Xbox One are up 60% year-to-date and 50% in July. Dollar sales of console, portable, and PC software came in at $246 million for July 2018, which is a 12% decline year on year, while software spending is up 5% from this time last year to $2.8 billion. Octopath Traveler was the best-selling game of July 2018, which is great news for Nintendo. GTA 5 was the second best-selling game in July and has outranked the competition on both Xbox One and PS4 to become the best-selling title for the month across both consoles. God damn it, there it is again. The NPD software chart below account for both physical and digital titles for publishers in the digital leader panel. So your top 10 July 2018 games are number 1, Octopath Traveler, number 2, GTA 5, number 3, Mario Kart 8, number 4, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, number 5, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, number 6, Far Cry 5, number 7, Super Mario Odyssey, number 8, The Crew 2, number 9, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, and number 10, Mario Tennis Aces. Now, your top 10 PlayStation 4 sellers for July 2018 are motherfucker Grand Theft Auto 5 at number 1, number 2, God of War, number 3, Detroit Become Human, number 4, MLB 18 The Show, number 5, The Crew 2, number 6, Far Cry 5, number 7, FIFA 18, number 8, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, number 9, Horizon Zero Dawn, number 10, NBA 2K18. Your top 10 games year to date are number 1, Far Cry 5, number 2, God of War, number 3, Monster Hunter World, number 4, Call of Duty World War 2, number 5, Grand Theft Auto 5, number 6, Dragon Ball Fighters, Fighter Z, someone help me out here, number 7, Mario Kart 8, number 8, NBA 2K18, number 9, MLB 18, The Show, and number 10, Super Mario Odyssey. For the month of July 2018, spending across video game hardware, software, accessories, and game cards grew 14% to $749 million. A decline in software sales was offset by an increase in hardware and accessory and game card sales. Year-to-date spending across all of the aforementioned categories is up 17% to $6.8 billion. While this can be attributed to all categories, accessories, and game cards saw the largest growth in terms of dollar sales. Video games. I think we're onto something. Seems like a good market to start a business in. The big sticking thing out here for me in terms of the top 10 PS4 games besides Grand Theft motherfucking Auto showing up again. It's God of War's number 2. Now, if you recall, when I did the top 10 most downloaded games for July on the PlayStation Network, God of War wasn't even on there. So it's an interesting juxtaposition here to see not GTA. It's on my, oh God, it's permeated my brain to see God of War showing up, number 2 physically, but not even the top 10 digitally. It's just an interesting kind of thing to be like, so more people are purchasing God of War in the physical capacity, which is just, interesting since that's really the biggest exclusive release of the year for the PlayStation console. So to see more people going out and wanting that on the shelf kind of is a good barometer for where we are in terms of the all digital takeover that I've slowly moved into, but you can tell, pretty early on that's not entirely the case. Grand Theft Auto, man, does not go away. Next news comes from Rebecca Valentine at GamesIndustry.biz as Remedy Entertainment is building a third development team. While Remedy Entertainment is hard at work on supernatural adventure game Control, which I'm super hyped about, that's not all it has in the works. The studio is slowly compiling a third team to work on something a bit different. Speaking to PCGamesInsider.biz at Gamescom, Remedy Communications chief Thomas Pua said the studio is creating a third team to work on an unknown third project. Currently, it has one team focused on the upcoming release of Control, and a second creating the story mode for Smilegate-developed military shooters Crossfire HD and Crossfire 2. Saying, quote, we are a multi-project studio. Very slowly building a third team. With Control, it's redefining Remedy again. We made two very linear story-driven game, and again, we're going to have the story, but in a game that's a lot more adventurous, Puha said. Hopefully it's something we can keep building more in the years to come. I feel very good about it. As a company, we're in a very good place, end quote. Creating a third studio to work on a new project jives with what CEO Tara Vertala told GamesIndustry.biz last year, that it wants to release more games across more platforms while retaining stronger control of its upcoming IP, as Alan Wake and Quantum Break's publishing rights remain with Microsoft. Cool. Remedy is a great studio. So I don't know if voice trailed like that. Remedy is a great studio. So expansion hopefully only does them some good. I'm really excited for Control. I kind of missed Alan Wake, and I don't have an Xbox One to opinionize, which isn't a word. Quantum Break. I'm glad Control doesn't rhyme with the other titles. That's nice, but yeah. So good on them. Cool. Interested to see what else they do as they continue to expand their library, as they've said, and try to keep control of their IPs. Next news for you is there will be no Assassin's Creed games in 2019. And this is from Timur Hussein at GameSpot. Ubisoft has revealed that it will not launch a new Assassin's Creed title in 2019, and instead will support this year's entry, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, with additional content designed to keep players engaged in the game. Speaking at Gamescom, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot explained that Assassin's Creed Odyssey's 2018 release was enabled because both 2017's Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey were being developed at the same time, and Odyssey will not be immediately followed by another game. Saying, quote, on Assassins, we had a game in 2018, and we have one this year. But we're not going to have a full-fledged Assassins next year, said Guillemot. Turn the page. It's just because the team were working separately, so we have two games now, one year after the other, but next year you're not going to have a fully fledged one, end quote. Asked whether this meant there would be a spin-off title or something smaller instead of a brand new, fully fledged entry into the Assassin's Creed series, Guillemot confirmed that this would not be the case either, saying, quote, what you'll have is lots of content coming on Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The team really want to give, on a regular basis, some new possibilities for play, so when you get Odyssey this year, you're going to get it for a couple of years, actually. The time gave the team the possibility to really bring what they wanted to. The community has been responding very well to it, and when I see what we are bringing with Odyssey, I know that the community that got back in with Origins will be amazed. So if you recall in the E3 prediction show or the E3 reaction show, I forget which, the one with Alex, with me and Alex too, I banked on Odyssey coming out next year as a Q1 title. I was wrong, as I am known to be throughout a lot of time. It's coming out again this year, which felt like it deviated from what Ubisoft accomplished with Origins, where before the smoke cleared, as we see now, where they were developed, congruently, but it seemed just to make sense to take a year off with the Assassin's Creed games, come back with Origins, and it seemed to really work for them. It jived and vibed with the community really well, and then to have another one coming out, to have it announced even 6 months ish after the last one had just come out, and then it's we're 11 months 9 months away, or 9 months into Origins being around, to have Odyssey kind of just rearing its head in October. It seemed counterintuitive to what they were talking about. So now that we know they were developed alongside each other, and there's nothing coming out in 2019, it lends itself more to what Ubisoft's been kind of preaching, where we don't want to annualize these games. The only reason we can is because we were working on both at the same time, but we're taking next year off and focusing entirely on Odyssey. I think that's great. I think the more time spent honing a craft, not working within a 6 or 9 month development cycle, trying to churn out a franchise title, you're going to create more problems than it's worth, as we saw with, was it Rogue? The one that had all the problems? I can't keep them straight. Basically after Black Flag, it's all just a blur, and then Origins came out. But so it's good to see they're kind of sticking to what they've said, despite the fact that we're getting kind of back-to-back years. It's good to see that they're kind of no, that's because this is a special circumstance. 2019, nothing. We'll see you again probably in 2020. When there's probably going to be new systems, but that's neither here nor there. So if you're looking forward to an Assassin's Creed game in 2019, you're not getting it. You're going to take your Odyssey, and you're going to love it. I hope so, because that's a really cool era that they're covering, and I hope it sticks with everybody. It wouldn't be an episode of the PlayStation Forecast if I didn't talk about Fortnite at least once every 3 weeks. So, Fortnite keyboard and mouse PS4 players will be paired with PC. This is from Owen S. Good at Polygon. Fortnite Battle Royale players who use a keyboard and mouse on the PlayStation 4 will be paired against those using the same control scheme, whether on PC or console, Epic Games announced in a state of development post yesterday. Input-based matchmaking isn't a part of Fortnite yet, but when it is, it will extend to the entire party. This means if anyone in the group is using a keyboard and mouse on a console, the whole party will be matchmade against a keyboard and mouse on PC or PS4. The Xbox One currently has no official support for keyboard and mouse controls, though Microsoft is said to be working on delivering it for the console's regular fall update. Keyboard and mouse users are considered to be at an advantage over gamepad players, particularly for the accuracy, speed, and improvement gained by aiming with a mouse. Epic's development update didn't say anything about PC players using a gamepad being match-made to gamepad users on that or other platforms. However, Epic did say the custom controls are expected by the end of the year, and users will be able to completely remap a gamepad to their preference. In other news, a competition system is expected for Fortnite sometime this fall. Epic said that development on a competitive system began recently, and what it has in mind would let players to compete directly in the same match, quote, and be recognized for their accomplishments, end quote. No other details were given. Lastly, Epic mentioned that Fortnite players on PS4 Pro systems will soon see support for 4K resolution. 4K resolution? Fortnite Battle Royale yesterday saw a giant weird cube arrive in the game via lightning storm. Players are still figuring out what it does and why it's here. So, if you play on a keyboard and mouse, you're gonna get matched with keyboard and mouse people. That's only fair. Makes sense. I don't know if that's really gonna like rustle the jimmies of anybody, you know. But that's just a Fortnite update. So if you play on PS4, you're gonna see 4K resolution. If you play with a keyboard and mouse, you're gonna start getting paired with keyboard and mouse. If you are a gamepad controller and you play with keyboard and mouse people, you're gonna start playing with keyboard and mouse people. So, gotta level the playing field, as it were. So that's your semi-weekly Fortnite update that I never intend to actually do. It's just how the world works because it's the biggest game in the world right now, and there's dance classes about it. The God of War audiobook will be narrated by Mimir. This is from Matt Morgans at VGR. Around 3 weeks ago, the upcoming God of War novelization became available for pre-order. The novel is an adaptation of the story of the latest game written by none other than J.M. Barlog, a professional novelist and father of Cory Barlog, the game's director. Now it has been announced that the God of War audiobook version will be narrated by Mimir himself. Cory Barlog made the announcement earlier today via Twitter, appearing with Alistair Duncan, Mimir's voice actor. He shared the news that Duncan will be narrating the God of War audiobook, as well as a clip of the upcoming recording. Titan Books, the publisher releasing the God of War novelization, describes the book, compares it to the core themes of the game. That's not a whole sentence. Quote, his vengeance against the gods of Olympus years behind him, Kratos now lives as a man in the realm of Norse gods and monsters. It is in this harsh, unforgiving world that he must fight to survive and teach his son to do the same. This startling reimagining of God of War deconstructs the core elements that defined the series, satisfying combat, breathtaking scale, and a powerful narrative, and fuses them anew. The 352-page novel adapts God of War's latest game into prose, fiction, and full. Both the novel and accompanying God of War audiobook will release on the 28th of August. J.M. Barlog, Cory Barlog's father, has been a novelist for many years. He's primarily known for his work in the suspense and mystery genres, but has taken to fantasy for this new adaptation. Alistair Duncan seems the perfect choice to narrate the tale, given Mimir's role as a storyteller in God of War. Anybody familiar with the game should also be familiar with his tales, related as Kratos and Atreus paddle across the Lake of Nine or traverse the various realms. I don't have much to say about that. I just think that's cool. I think that's really cool, actually. I have not gotten back into God of War since like May. Like I'm just at Mimir, So I'm maybe 6 hours deep into that thing. I got some time coming up where I'm gonna finish it finally. It's not for another like month, but I got some time coming up, and hopefully I after Spider-Man, that's when everything's gonna kind of reset for me, and I'll get back to the backlog, and I'll make do because we're getting closer to the game of the year, conversations, and I wanna be in that mix. I need to finish God of War to be in that mix. I just thought that was cool. I will probably check out how much that audiobook's going to cost because I love that idea. But I do want to finish the game first, obviously. But so if you finish the game, but you're not ready to leave the world yet, you have New Game Plus and you have the novelization and audiobook coming out narrated by Mimir. Next news. Told you this is a meaty episode. Battlefield 5 pre-orders are below expectations, but it isn't going to bomb. This is from Jeff Grubb at VentureBeat. Some of the hype around Battlefield 5 is starting to turn sour. In a note to investors, as the Wall Street Journal spotted, analyst Doug Kreutz of investment firm Cohen and Company said the game's pre-order numbers were looking weak compared to Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and Red Dead Redemption 2. Then, on August 14th, former DICE boss and longtime Electronic Arts executive Patrick Soderlund left the publisher. This has caused a lot of speculation among the fan community on forums and YouTube. That's where you want your speculation. The assumption is that the World War II shooter is a failure, but sources familiar with Electronic Arts and DICE tell a different story. Soderlund's exit has nothing to do with Battlefield 5. He has had at least one foot out the door for months after spending decades with DICE and then EA. And Battlefield 5 isn't about to bomb, even if it isn't doing as well as Battlefield 1 was at this point. It is also underperforming EA's internal expectations. That is one of the main reasons the company did not raise its full-year revenue guidance during its last quarterly financial report. The credit for missing expectations likely goes to the disappointing reveal event and an October 19th release date that rubs up against Call of Duty Black Ops 4 on October 12th and Red Dead Redemption 2 on October 26th. Even with all of that working against Battlefield 5, it is not, quote, failing. It may not be living up to internal estimates at EA, but it is already outperforming Titanfall 2 by a significant margin, and having a game that is struggling to compete for pre-orders this fall is not unique to Electronic Arts. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the only fall release that is meeting expectations at one major distributor, according to a source familiar with online retail. So yes, Battlefield 5 is coming in weak, but so is Call of Duty Black Ops 4. So is everything that isn't the next hotly anticipated release from Rockstar Games. Red Dead is so huge that it isn't leaving room for competing products, and Fortnite is still massive. Those two games are potentially creating an environment where other blockbuster shooters may struggle to thrive. But EA does have a contingency plan if Battlefield 5's revenue trajectory turns south. DICE has major post-launch support plan to involve its Battle Royale mode. The studio's take on the last player standing concept probably won't debut alongside the game in October, but DICE and EA may use that opportunity to get creative with how it distributes it. Fortnite, the major battle royale game on consoles, is free to play, so the publisher will have to take that into mind when it comes time to roll out Battlefield Royale. Finally, EA is working on a big surprise for longtime Battlefield fans. It wants to wait until it sees how the game does in its first month, but it may incorporate that surprise into the shooter as free DLC if it feels the need to drive sales. Creating more value is something the blockbuster shooter franchises are doing more often. Call of Duty will also have a Battle Royale mode in addition to 3 different campaigns for its popular Zombies mode. In 2016, Activision bundled Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered in with the new Call of Duty Infinite Warfare to encourage old fans to come back. If Battlefield 5 does fizzle at launch, DICE and EA are ready to use some tricks to ensure it has a chance to bounce back, similar to games like Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. But with an open beta for Battlefield 5 coming September 4th and DICE working to get new trailers out to win over fans, a weak launch is not a foregone conclusion. DICE just has to give fans a reason to get excited. So a few things to unpack there. I didn't report in depth about Patrick Soderlund leaving EA, but that was major because they just paid him like $20 million to stay. So he took that. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine a world where you're like, I want to quit my job, and they're like, how about $20 million to not do that? And you'd be like, okay. And then a year later, be like, I'm doing that. I'm quitting. Bye. Thanks for the cool 20 mil. Like, what fucking world do we live in where that's a thing that occurs, you know? And then he still quits. So I could see where like the red flags are starting to pop here and there. Uh, yeah, I don't think it's alarming. I don't think, like they said, it's outperforming Titanfall 2, which I think is the barometer for a crowded October in terms of defining what is and is not a failure. And I mean, again, you're going up against Fortnite, the biggest game in the world right now, the biggest shooter in the world, and it's free. It's a free game. Like, if and this point was made on a recent episode of the Giant Bombcast, and I want to echo it here because I think it's a very salient point to make. In that, if I want to get friends together to play Fortnite, all I'd have to do is be like, hey, just download this game. I'll see you in the lobby. With Battlefield, it's okay, hey, like, do you have Battlefield? No. Okay, I do. I need you to go to the store, pay $60 for Battlefield or Call of Duty. And then, like, well, I don't want to pay the $60. Well, I need, if you want to play online, it's $60. Then you're going to come home, you got to install, you got to download, and all this other stuff. Fortnite is a known quantity, and it's free. I think that's a major selling point to it in that it doesn't cost you anything. There's nothing you have to actually purchase to consume Fortnite Battle Royale. And that's one of the many things, not like, not factoring in the community involvement, not factoring in the constant updates and the constant refreshing or the refreshments. Is it a fresca? Being made to keep it feeling fresh and to keep you coming back and to keep you in that loop. Battlefield's an unknown. The Battle Royale mode isn't going to launch at launch. It's not going to be alongside the game. We don't know entirely what Blackout is. It's just Battle Royale the Black Ops way. So when games are underperforming, and then you've got Rockstar with this juggernaut with Red Dead, hanging out just weeks, if not week after, and then Fortnite, it's bound to create this vacuum that's going to suck a lot of players out of it. And it's going to be on EA, who already have a tarnished name as it is, with whether it's through the Madden releases, whether it's through their handling of the Star Wars license, whether it's, subsequently how they handled the Respawn entertainment situation. They are a tarnished brand. They are a sullied name. They're the publisher everybody loves to hate. They're these conglomerates, that sit at the top of their ivory towers, carving their ivory tusks and making them into ivory keys on their ivory pianos. And sure, they do great things, like where they don't profit on a way out, and a way out makes a ton of money, and it all goes straight to the publisher, or they keep putting out Unraveled, Yarny and all that noise, and putting out sequels to that, and but or was that Ubisoft? Either way, A Way Out is a great example of when EA isn't being shitty or isn't this titan of industry that wears suits without back pockets on the pants for whatever reason. There's a lot to make fun of EA about, and there are people that will revel in it. And you don't want to do that because, again, this is people's jobs. This is people's lives. This is what, people's passions are being put into this. But I think the EA well is poisoned in a way where I think it is going to eat into the Battlefield sales. I think Fortnite's success is going to eat into the Battlefield sales and the Call of Duty sales. I think Red Dead's going to eat into both of them. And time will tell in October. But, it doesn't portend well for anything releasing alongside Red Dead, even if they are annualized, like, categorical sales juggernauts, the way that I don't know how many more times I'm going to say juggernauts, but the way Call of Duty and Battlefield are. Just interesting. And like I said, Soderlund leaving is kind of an ominous cloud. The EA name doesn't carry a lot of positive water. So we'll see. October is not too far away, which is terrifying. What happened to 2018? Last news, and this transitions well into the new games and dates. Introducing the Dark Pictures Anthology from the makers of Until Dawn. and I'm hyped as hell about this. This is from Pete Samuels, executive producer at Supermassive Games, with a post on the PlayStation blog. Hi there! I'm Pete Samuels, CEO and executive producer at Supermassive Games. I am really excited to be talking to you today about the Dark Pictures Anthology, a series of standalone, cinematic, branching horror games. The first in the series is called Man of Madden and is launching in 2019. At Supermassive, we have a passion to deliver powerful cinematic stories, and we're following on from titles like Until Dawn and The Impatient by telling new, turn the page, horror stories that we expect the fans will want to play. Each game in the series will feature a brand new story, setting, and characters. The anthology format gives us the opportunity to tap into a variety of horror subgenres. We've identified 39 that we'd love to represent in the anthology, but that would take some time. The story of Man of Medan starts off on a dive boat in the South Pacific with a rumored World War II wreck to find, and plenty of on-deck partying to be had. Our group of 4 young Americans and their Skipper Fliss, not hyphenated, Skipper Fliss, and their skipper, Fliss, get ready for what should be the trip of a lifetime, but doesn't go quite as planned. As the day unfolds and a storm rolls in, they find themselves trapped on board a ghost ship, subjected to unimaginable stress and terror. They must try to find a way to escape the ship and its sinister history. Man of Medan, like all the games in the Dark Pictures anthology, is hugely replayable. In fact, there is more branching in Man of Medan than any of our previous games. There are multiple endings and multiple scenarios based on the decisions you make in the game. Be careful though, as all playable characters can live, and any and all of them can die, depending on the choices you make. Through the protagonist's eyes, you will uncover the secrets of the mysteries surrounding the ill-fated boat. Figuring this out can save their lives, but whether or not they all escape is up to you. Creating this project has been massively exciting for us, and we can't wait for people to start playing Man of Medan and the subsequent games in the Dark Pictures anthology. So I am fucking hyped for Man of Medan. I know I said it not mockingly, but I said it's just fun to say. It's fun to say Man of Medan. But Man of Medan, so the Dark Pictures anthology. If there has been one thing that has been consistent about this show since episode 2 is my love for Supermassive Games. I love them. I think they're great. I think that they are, in a way, the future of the gaming industry. I think if someone were to come to me and be like, Alex, who is the next Insomniac? Who is the next Naughty Dog? I would say Supermassive Games. I think they have the propensity and the ability to make AAA great story-driven titles across multiple genres. And sure, they've whiffed and they've swung and they've missed with The Impatient and with Bravo Team, and they had some success in VR with Until Dawn: Rush of Blood, but that's built off of a very successful universe and a captivating world that Until Dawn was. That is a game I just want to really go back to. I need to get that platinum. Now, the thing I do want to say about the Dark Pictures anthology is this is being published by Bandai Namco. This is not an XDev title. This is coming to PS4 and Xbox One. And this is something, again, that I kind of just want to bang the drum on, in that if there was an offer from Sony to buy Supermassive and Supermassive said nay, that's fine. But I think if it has not been something that's been a topic mentioned or revisited or analyzed from like a Sony perspective, I don't know why you don't pick this studio up. Like, an anthology-based horror video game is such a great idea. And that would have just been another feather in the cap. And this is an area where I think they just may have messed up. Maybe, like I said, maybe there's behind closed doors meetings where like these were discussed and the numbers weren't right. And they're like, no, we're going to work with Bandai Namco, whatever. Props to Bandai Namco for being like, yeah, we'll publish this. And maybe it was because like the pedigree was a little rocky after the success that was Until Dawn. I don't know. There's more about this that I don't know than I do, obviously. I just know that Until Dawn was great, and they should have just jumped on the boat then. I can't wait for the Dark Pictures anthology. I can't wait for Man of Medan. Please watch the trailer if you haven't. I know there's some gameplay footage up, I believe, too, on IGN. I am not watching it. I want to just play it. I want it to be 2019. I want it in my hands. Give it to me. Please. I'll ask nicely. But that is exciting news. But on the topic of games coming out in the future, we should talk some new games and dates. And there are a few. Creed Rise to Glory comes to PSVR September 25th, 2018. Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown comes to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation VR January 18th, 2019. Devil May Cry 5 is coming to PS4 March 8th, 2019. Shenmue 3 is coming to PS4 August 27th of 2019. An old game from DICE, yes, that same DICE from Battlefield, that was originally for the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive, depending on what country you read this from. It was canceled just up until like right before launch 25 years ago. A game called Hardcore is coming to PS4 and Vita in 2019. And I don't know if this is coming to PS4 or not, but Streets of Rage 4 was announced today. This is Monday. Right now, it's Tuesday when you're hearing this. So yesterday, it was announced, if you're listening to this on Tuesday, for in 2019. It does not have, the trailer, I don't believe, listed a console. I would assume it's coming to PS4. I don't know. It's .emu that's putting it out. They're also putting out Windjammers 2, and that's coming to Switch because I need to get a Switch. Otherwise, it feels like my life is a lie. Because I want Windjammers 2. But those are your games coming out in the future. But if you're going to get on the PlayStation Store right after you listen to this, then you need to know what is new now, which means we need to do the drop. So these are your new games for the week of August 28th, 2018. And there's almost too many. Bad North comes to PS4 Digital. Bad North is a charming but brutal real-time tactics roguelite. Defend your idyllic island kingdom against a horde of Viking invaders as you lead the desperate exodus of your people. Blade Strangers comes to PS4 Digital. A malevolent force known only as Lena is devouring data from a vast interdimensional network of servers overseen by sentient computers called motes. In desperation, the motes seek to awaken the Blade Stranger in the hopes of vanquishing Lena. What is the game? That told me nothing about what it is. Bow to Blood. It comes to PSVR Digital. Take to the skies as captain of a powerful airship and discover a fantastical world of airborne gladiatorial sci-fi. Compete to become champion of the arena as its inscrutable overseers test you and fellow challengers in a fantasy reality show. Battle of Blood sounds kind of cool, actually. Catch and Release comes to PSVR Digital. Catch and Release places you on a beautiful mountain lake and lets you freely explore and row around while you choose your fishing spot and take in the scenery. Claybook comes to PS4 Digital August 31st. Claybook is a unique world made entirely of clay. Every inch of the environment can be shaped and molded. Everything has matter inside of it, not just an outer shell. Clay can be liquid or solid. It can be deformed and destroyed. Again, what is the game? Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition. Why isn't it definitive? Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition comes to PS4 Digital and Retail August 31st. Gather your party and get ready for a fantastic adventure. Your imagination is your only limitation as you seek to restore divinity and save the world. But beware, only one of you can become the new divine. Aw yeah, Donut County comes to PS4 Digital. Donut County is a story-based physics puzzle game where you play as an ever-growing hole in the ground. Meet cute characters, steal their trash, and throw them in a hole. I can't wait. I'll probably have some stuff coming up this week or early next week about Donut County. Downward Spiral Horus Station comes to PSVR Digital. Downward Spiral Horus Station is a mysterious and atmospheric zero-gravity thriller set in the lost and forgotten Horus Station. Yeah, because when I want VR, I want zero gravity. Jesus Christ, that sounds like me vomiting everywhere. Ferns Gate comes to PS4 and PS Vita digital cross-buy. After awakening in an unfamiliar woods, Alex, not me, an ordinary high schooler living an ordinary life, learns he has somehow ended up in a fantasy world dominated by conflict and destruction. Hey, yeah, my other game of the week, Fire Pro Wrestling World, comes to PS4 digital and retail. The greatest grappling game returns to take on the world on the PS4. In Fire Pro Wrestling World, customize every aspect of the match, from your wrestler to the ring itself, to fight your way to the championship belt. This also features, I think, the entire New Japan roster. So if you wanted to get into New Japan, you can't keep the roster straight, this will be a good frame of reference for you. Have some more Omega Okada, and some Ishii and some Tanahashi. Firewall Zero Hour comes to PSVR digital and retail. In Firewall Zero Hour, choose from one of 12 contractors hired by anonymous contract handlers and work as a team to either protect or obtain valuable data housed on a laptop and located in dangerous locations around the globe. Gate of Doom is coming to PS4 digital and is the worst cover art of the week. Gate of Doom is classic multiplayer action RPG for 1 to 2 players, originally released in 1990 and a noted classic arcade title from the 90s. I just read that as is. And I'm going to read it again because I want you to hear this. Gate of Doom is classic multiplayer action RPG for 1 to 2 players, originally released in 1990 and a noted classic arcade title from the 90s. Gate of Doom. Just, if you're watching the video version, just breathe that in. I'm leaving it up long enough for you to want, if you want to read it, you can read it. If you're listening to the audio version, jump in at, about an hour in. And you'll see Gate of Doom. The Golf Club 2019 featuring PGA Tour is coming to PS4 digital. Do you have what it takes to win the FedEx Cup on the PGA Tour? Compete in the all-new officially licensed PGA Tour Career Mode. Play on famous courses like TPC Boston and TPC Sawgrass and more. Haunted Dungeons Hayaki Castle comes to PS4 digital out August 30th. Form your party of secret agents from among 4 races: human, Oni, Tengu, and Nekomata. Then conquer the terrifying and mysterious yokai-filled castle. Naruto Toburuto Shinobi Striker comes to PS4 digital retail out August 31st. The Naruto series is back with a brand new experience. You can battle as a team of 4 to compete against other teams online. Lead your team and fight online to see who the best ninjas are. NBA 2K19 The Prelude comes to PS4 digital August 31st. NBA 2K19 continues to push the limits as it brings gaming one step closer to real-life basketball excitement and culture. Download NBA 2K19 The Prelude for free and get a head start on your MyPlayer before the full game release on September 7th. Pato Box comes to PS4 digital. Pato Box is an adventure fighting game inspired by the Punch-Out series. It's a surreal boxing quest with a duck. Fuck yeah, I'm in. Shikhondo Soul Eater comes to PS4 digital. Shikhondo Soul Eater is a Korean bullet hell shoot 'em up set within a beautiful and bizarre world of Asian mythology. Splash Blast Panic comes to PS4 digital. Splash Blast Panic is a multiplayer competitive party game where you must shoot, ram, dodge, and overall bully your opponents with a variety of water gun-based weaponry. Strange Brigade comes to PS4 digital and retail. Sateki the Witch Queen has risen once again, and only one troop of daring heroes can stand against her fearsome army of mummified monstrosities. The Strange Brigade. The Strange Brigade. Damn. Sunless Sea Submariner Edition comes to PS4 digital. Take the helm of your steamship and set sail for the unknown. Sunless Sea is a literary role-playing game of discovery, loneliness, and frequent death, set in the award-winning Victorian Gothic universe of Fallen London. Switchblade comes to PS4 digital. Fight your way up the season ranks to become an online superstar in a spectacular future sport championship. Seamlessly switch between heavily armed high-tech vehicles at any time to create endless tactical choices in a frantic 5v5 battle to claim victory. Think of the Children comes to PS4 Digital August 31st. Little Bobby's dead, the barbecue is on fire, Jen's eating poisonous berries, and the birthday cake still needs icing. It's just a wonderful day out with the kids, and think of the children, a frantic parenting simulator for up to 4 players. Yeah, no, I ain't doing that. I don't need that right now. Torn comes to PSVR Digital. Torn is a dark science fiction mystery. Explore the abandoned mansion filled with strange machines and disturbing experiments belonging to an eccentric scientist missing for 64 years. Viking Days comes to PSVR Digital. You usually see Vikings at epic battles of fury and glory, don't you? Now find out about daily Viking life. Play through 10 different minigames to prove how much of a Viking you truly are. Yakuza Kiwami 2 comes to PS4 digital and retail. Rebuilt from the ground up, Yakuza Kiwami 2 uses the Dragon engine to update one of the series' standout titles into a modern classic. Also new to Kiwami 2 is the Majima Saga, revealing events that occur prior to the game. And those are your games for August 28th, or for the week of August 28th through the 31st, which means it's time for Trophy Talk! In terms of trying to find some easy trophies, I'm going to pull a couple that may or may not. I don't know. We'll see. I'm pulling Donut County. I think Donut County actually seems and feels kind of doable. We'll pull Battle Blood too. Golf Club, I don't think it's going to be an easy one. Just a hunch. Firewall has one. NBA Live Sports games never really have easy ones. The European trophy list for Perils of Baking. Let's see. I think it's just going to be a couple for us today, everybody. So Little Dragons Cafe has 2 bronze, 13 silver, 6 gold, and a platinum. And I feel like I pulled this one last week. I don't remember. These all run together. Let's see. Cleared the prologue, cleared chapter 1. There's all clear chapter titles, 11 chapters. The dragon reaches adulthood. The game cleared. Collect all recipes. Collect all ingredients. 50 customers or more come in a day. Help out the cafe more than 50 times in a day. Get happy as a feedback. Have 10 items on the cafe menu. Completely change the dragon's color. So it's completing the game. Some quantity-based trophies and then collectibles. So depending on the difficulty of the collectibles, damn, I'm real gassy. It seems like it might be a pretty doable one. Donut County has 7 bronze, 5 silver, 8 gold, and a platinum. So let's see here. Looks like somebody already has the platinum. See, there's release the hot air balloon, destroy the donut shop, destroy Raccoon Lagoon, hack into the mainframe, win the boss fight, bring everyone back, complete the Trashopedia, set Pepper's tail on, so complete the boss fight without taking damage, lose the boss fight, destroy the monitor, destroy the monument. I don't know. I don't know how difficult that's going to be. I've heard the game's relatively short. It's around like 2.5 hours in length from what I've heard, so I'm sure this is doable with some replayability, but if somebody's already got the platinum out there, I don't know if it'll be too rough. Then Bow to Blood will be the last one we look at, and that has 16 bronze, 11 silver, 5 gold, and a platinum. Let's take a look here. You know what? Screw it. Let's pull NBA Lives too. See if there's any cool specialty trophies in there, you know? Anything real fancy, anything specific. Cast your first vote in the calling. Reach the season. This is Battle Blood. This isn't NBA Live. There's no calling. Survive 3 rounds of fight or flight with your opponent. Discover all Leviathan eggs. And 1 season, have 4 or more challengers dislike you at the same time. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that one looks like it's going to take some time to snag. And then finally, NBA Live 19 has 14 bronze, 10 silver, 5 gold, and a platinum. Let's see if there's any cool things worth calling out. Perform a self alley-oop. Perform every type of pass. perform an ankle breaker, make a game-winning shot with green release, hold an opposing team scoreless for 4 minutes. If this is anything like last year, that's incredibly doable. Win an online head-to-head game, 3 gold traits, win the MVP award in the league within the 1, win the NBA Finals in the league within the 1, win the NBA Finals in franchise, some World Tour stuff, reach legend status in Court Battle High, play and win any co-op live event, complete the GM List 1 and Ultimate Team and GM List 2. So that one, again, probably going to take some time. But that is it for us on Trophy Talk, which means that is it for us this week, because this has been the PlayStation Forecast, and it comes to you each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on youtube.com/PressX2Alex and podcast services around the globe, including Spotify and a myriad of other ones. If you like the show, you can get involved at psforums.pressx2alex.com, where you can submit any questions, comments, concerns. If you want to talk to me outside the show, as I've said multiple times this week, my DMs are open. If you just want to chat publicly, you can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/pressx2alex. And if you want to support the show, again, subscribing, reviewing, 4 or 5 stars is fine. I'm not going to trouble you for a 3-star or lower, obviously. 4 or 5 stars is plenty. 5 stars is great. Write one up if you'd like. And share the show. I tweet it every week, multiple times. So retweets, sharing it, telling friends, family about it. Anyone you think would be interested. It goes a long way and gets more eyes and ears on this. With that said, have a great week, everybody. I'll probably have, hopefully, maybe some more videos coming up later this week, early next week. There's plenty to hold you over on the channel already. Until then, see you next time, and do the thing. Where's the stop button?